Sure. Okay, I think we are live. The breakthrough. And there I am, live. Good, it's working. Okay, thank you. Welcome, everyone. Got a bunch of attendees here, and I see some new names. So, and there are some names I really don't recognize. So I'm trying to be aware because last month we had the spammers hit and say all sorts of nasty stuff in the chat. So if that happens, I've got a tech person standing by to lock onto their IPs and send them all sorts of crap. In any case, welcome to Rewriting Reality on The Breakthrough Show. This is our last one of the year, and I don't have a guest this week. So that means I get to work on you guys a lot more during this hour. So we've got a bunch of people there. If you want to get worked on, just raise your hand. There is a raise hand icon at the bottom of the screen on my platform. I assume you guys have it too. And we can get to work on certain things. So for the people that are new and have never worked with me before, what's going to happen on this particular episode, wow, shift's already happening, is I'm going to have conversations with the various people. And when I talk, wow, sorry, I'll explain the coughing in a second. When I talk to you, I can tell when your conscious beliefs match your unconscious beliefs. So I know whenever you are lying to yourself. So what that's going to mean is you may ask me to work on a certain problem. Let's say the problem is finding a wonderful relationship and that you haven't been able to find one. And then you say, look, that's the thing. I want it to be in a nice, loving, beautiful relationship. And I'll sit there and go, no, that's not actually true. You don't. And you'll say, yes, I do. I'm hoping we don't go through this whole argument, but this is often what happens. It's like, no, you don't. There's a block in there. You don't want to be in that relationship. So we'll start digging down and finding out why you don't want to be in a relationship. And it could be that the last relationship you were in, you got your heart broken. And so you're worried that might happen again. So the best solution for that is to not be in a relationship, because if you're not in it, you can't get your heart broken. So that's how you solve the problem. And you don't do that at a conscious level, but unconsciously, make sure you're not in a relationship. Consciously, I can't meet anyone that really clicks with me, right? Everyone I meet is a jerk or taken or whatever the situation is, but it's not working. And I don't know what the problem is. Well, the problem isn't that you can't meet the right people. The problem is that you actually don't want to meet anyone, because then you might get your heart broken. Or it could be that my parents were always fighting. That's what I've been brought up to believe a relationship looks like. That's what's going to happen if I get married. So it's better for me. I don't want that to happen. So it's better for me not to get into a relationship, so I can't get married, so I can't end up like my parents and fighting all the time. So there are all these different rules, beliefs, relationships could be, and stories could be running in your subconscious, keeping you from getting that life you want, from having the reality you want. And the goal today is to rewrite the realities of as many people as I can that have attended here. And we've got like 5 hands up already. And see what happens. So you just have to raise your hand. I'm not going in the order that people raise their hands. I'm going in the order I feel called to, because I feel that'll give the most benefit for the rest of the people on the call. So what's going to happen is when we get to that belief or that story, a belief is just something you believe to be true. A story is a repeated belief. So this always happens to me. Story of my life. Every time I do this, those are stories. And when we get to it, I'm going to ask, are you willing to destroy the belief, or are you willing to step out of the story? If you say yes and you mean it, you have to mean it, and I can tell if you mean it or not, then that belief gets destroyed in that moment. And when that happens, there is a shift. Everything is energy. You are energy. Matter is compressed energy. Even beliefs are energy. When energy shifts, my body reacts. The Facebook Live is streamed to the Breakthrough Show page. And so you can, if you're on the Breakthrough Show, or if you're not, go like it. You can see the Facebook there. You just won't get the chat, which sometimes is a good thing when spammers come in and start putting all sorts of crap in the chat. The Facebook people don't see it. You're welcome, Facebook. So in any case, when energy shifts, I tend to yawn and cough. And that's just what my body does. I don't know why it does that. I've tried to shift it over the years, but it just seems to like this, and it works for me, and it sort of gives me that unique flair, right? I'm like the coughing guy. So, but when energy shifts for you, it's different for every person. I've done, this is my fourth workshop today. And the most common thing today, especially, was feeling a little energy in your chest, a little lightness or tingling or buzzing or stuff. And that's just you letting go of that belief. Now, there have been other things. One person was dizzy. Some people get hot. Some people get cold. There are other yawners and coughers and burpers. And it just depends how your body likes to process energy. That's what's going to happen for you. You may not feel anything. Some people aren't aware of energy processing, and they're just like, I don't feel any different. But chances are, from working on you, you say you're going to destroy belief, and I'm coughing a lot. Even if you're not feeling anything, something is shifting. So we can expect that. And the neat thing is, when I work on any particular person, if you relate to what they're saying, the belief they're trying to destroy, then when I ask them to destroy the belief, you can say yes, and it will shift for you. And even if it's not quite the same, if I ask them about their mom, but you have the same problem about your brother, then you can just make that mental switch and say, yep, destroying that about that person or about that business or about whatever that situation is. But it's the similar thing. And you're like, oh my God, I'm doing that, but just slightly different. So that's the wonderful thing about this. And the neat thing is, it's not just the people that are in the chat here. It is everyone watching the stream. Even if you're watching the replay, you can get the benefits of the shifts just by saying yes at the right time and meaning it. You gotta mean it. Okay. And the last thing is, if I say ow, it's because when I'm working on something, you don't want me to actually change it. You say you do, but you're holding on to it. It's precious to you. It will change so much in your life. And you're like, no, I'm not ready for that. So I will let you know that you're in resistance, and the intensity of the ow shows you the intensity of the resistance. It doesn't really hurt, but it's kind of like you're throwing energetic daggers at me. And so I get that awareness of how much you're stuck in that space. And those are usually the beliefs that keep you stuck the most. So we're going to try and move through all that. So if you have any questions on any of that, now is the time to throw it in the chat before I start to work on people. 1 sec. Okay. All right. So then we are going to start with Diane. Hey, Diane. Are you there, Diane? You had your hand up.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought, okay. I'm in a relationship, and whenever I get upset, I just shut down. I just get mad, and I get, act like a little kid, and I just go quiet. And I would like to change that. I don't want to take everything so personal.
Okay. If you didn't shut down, what would take place next once you got upset?
I don't know. Like, go on.
I assume you're upset with your partner, not just upset in general.
I take by being quiet because I take it personal and I get offended.
Okay. And what if you brought that up to your partner?
When I do it doesn't. Actually, no, I've never really done it.
Mm-hmm.
I just go quiet. Yeah.
Yep. So what are you thinking is going to happen if you bring it up?
I'll be scalded for even bringing it up.
Okay. So you have a perceived reality. This is what is probably going to happen. And in order to avoid that happening, you need to shut down. But
Yes.
you have no idea if that's actually going to happen.
No.
And how old are you being when this happens?
5, maybe.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, you are reliving being scolded when you were 5 and putting your partner in the role of your parents.
Yeah. I could see that now. Then.
So when you start to behave as though you are whatever age you are now and more mature, more experienced, don't have to shut down, then you can have those conversations with your partner. And they may be this, what do you mean? What do you think you're talking about? That you may have to go through that. But until you're willing to go through that, it's just going to be shut down, shut down, shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So are you willing to step out of the story that you got from childhood, that whenever you get upset, it's easier and safer to just shut down than to confront someone?
Yes.
Oof. How's that feel?
I felt like puking there for a second.
Yep. Someone's in the back of been coughing and puking.
Yeah, no, that's my brother coughing.
Okay. I think he got the splash effect of the clearing. Okay. Oof. And are you willing to step out of the story that whenever you don't like something, you will get scolded?
Yes.
Are you giving me this too? I already got one. I don't know if my dog will give me.
Okay. How's that feel? Better, worse, the same, or different?
Just feel nauseous.
Okay. So this is because it's a deep thing from when you were very young and you've been here for so long. What happens if okay, so what happens to you if you don't behave?
I got yelled at.
Okay. So do you have to make sure you always behave so you don't get yelled at?
No.
Yeah, that's not coming up true. Okay. So again, you're still acting from the point of view of a child, right? And behavior, and it's not like I'm saying go be a misbehaving person through life. Behaving is basically you being the way the person you think the person you're with wants you to be. So you have to be how your parents wanted you to be, what they thought was acceptable behavior. And now when you're with your partner, you're trying to figure out what he feels is acceptable behavior, and you're trying to stay in that space because that's what you grew up with, that's what you learned. But just because it's not acceptable behavior for him doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, because that just might be who you are, and he'll have to accept you for who you are, right? And deal with it. This is like these are my habits, this is what I do, and I've been doing them all my life. If it's not acceptable to you, then maybe we're not a match, or else get into that place of acceptance, and then we'll be better as a couple. So are you willing to step out of the story, that childhood story, that you have to always have acceptable behavior?
Yes.
Okay. How's that feel?
I can feel it moving.
Good.
more in my solar plex.
Okay. Yeah, because that's self-esteem. You have to be strong in being you. Be unapologetically you. And the people that align to you will stick with you and will accept you, and you'll create amazing relationships with them. But if you keep trying to make everyone else happy, be acceptable to other people, then you're not going to have a happy life. You're not even going to have an aligned life because you're not being you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for playing. Next, we have Leslie. So interesting. There's Leslie. Can we see you, Leslie? Unmute.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks for taking my name first. I mean, next. Although I was also participating in Diane's session. I know that I'm a very opinionated person. And given that, a lot of times I rub people the wrong way, including my own grown children.
Okay.
So I need to work on this because I know I offend people and offend anyone who could be a potential partner because sometimes I don't know when to turn it off. So I'm looking to minimize this behavior in myself and be more open to listening and being receptive to what other people have to contribute.
Okay. What do you love about the behavior, though?
I love the fact that even though I'm so opinionated, people will come to me for advice on just any topic.
Okay.
And I love that because it gives me an opportunity to communicate with people. And I'm more or less like a go-to person, personal wise and professional wise. So
Okay.
I love that about about my my behavior.
All right. So if you tone it down, will you stop being the go-to person?
I don't think so.
That's not coming up true.
No?
No. If you tone it down, well, that means you have to tone down your business, your attention, and who you are.
Okay.
Right? Because you just said, the thing I love about it is people come to me and you're getting that attention. You've decided that behavior makes you special, makes you visible, makes you valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And you are valuable with or without the behavior. That's the thing you have to realize. As long as you link that behavior to your value, you're not going to turn it down. And you're going to continue to annoy people.
Mm-hmm.
So are you willing to step out of the story that behavior is what makes you visible and valuable and special?
Yes.
So when you have your opinions, people can see that value from them. And that's great. But when you turn it around completely and you just listen to people, they feel valued by the intensity with which you can listen to them and be with them and be present with them. And there's other ways to make people see your value and feel your value. The thing is to stop linking it to something you do and just realize it's who you are.
Okay.
So are you willing to step out of the story that you need to do something in order to have value?
Yes.
And the key word there is need. Right? When you know you have value, then you'll take action, not because you need to feel that you're valuable, not because you need to show that you're valuable, but because you want to just genuinely help people, contribute, listen, give advice. And it's not coming from a place of ego. It's coming from like, I have value and I'd like to share it. And that changes everything, because a lot of people are out there with the need to be visible, the need for people to say, wow, you're special, the need for that attention. And that need energy is what keeps them from growing to a bigger space. Or if they grow for a big space, what makes them really annoying, because you can see that neediness in their energy.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
One last, we're not quite done. One more thing.
Oh.
Will people love you as much? And I know that you're saying that you're annoying people, but this is where it's going on your subconscious mind. Will people love you as much if you're not as opinionated and not as vocal?
Good question.
I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I think they will love me as much if I'm not as opinionated. Um, but then those people are used to me being opinionated, so they love me
Mhm.
anyway.
But the thing here is there's people that are going to love you anyway, but then there's the other people, the ones that just get pulled in from you being vocal. And there's a certain love that comes from them. Would you get as much?
No.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons you're holding back. So, and that's a complete false statement. That's a belief you just came up with. Well, not just came up with, but that's been there for a while. So, are you willing to destroy the belief that people won't love you as much if you're not so opinionated and vocal?
Yes.
Okay, how's that feel? Better, worse, the same, or different?
I feel a little lighter.
Good.
Mhm.
And here's the thing, you may still be opinionated, but if you're coming at it from a different energy, it's going to come across different to people. It'll be softer, it'll be more welcome. And there'll be times where you just don't need it. You're just like, no, I've got value. I don't need to be opinionated. I don't need to insert myself and suddenly get noticed in this conversation. And other times you're going to be like, oh, but you know what? And everyone's going to be like, oh, what, Leslie, what? And just raptured.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do, do, do. Joy.
Hey, Shiraz.
Why is no one turning on their video today?
Okay, I'll turn my video on.
I know you had a video. You were in an earlier workshop and your video was on.
earlier, we could put the video on, but not our sound. Okay. So those first 2 months were really good for me too. The thing that came up for me that I'm kind of trying to work through is it really ties in with what you teach about whose story is the strongest. So, my nephew is one of my kids, right? I've raised him since he was 12. it's like 4 boys, right? So it's like he came up with his girlfriend, and he kind of reverts back to when they were all teenagers and all trying to see who could get out of doing what to help, right? And I can't believe how much I got triggered, right? It was like, for me, it was just like, was right back when, you know, I was trying to do way too much, and kids, the teenage boys and my husband, no, they didn't want to help. They just, you know, wanted to get away with whatever. They were all acting like, you know, what could they get away with, right? And I got caught in that story. And even though I knew his story was dominating my, I couldn't get out of it. And then it's like they left, and my husband convinced them to come back for New Year's, right? And I'm going like, okay, it's like, really? It's like, so I guess I need to deal with that.
Okay. What do you love so much about the story?
What do I love so much about that story?
About his story, yeah.
About his story. I really don't know.
Okay, so that's not coming up as true. And here's the thing, you'll buy a story because part of you is okay with buying that story. It's never a case of, oh, it's just too powerful and I can't help but step into that story. Part of you wants to step into that story. So
what do I like about it? I guess if it would be that I would be still unappreciated, maybe, or taken advantage of, or there's some weird way that still runs for me.
that is, oh, if you buy his
I get to
story,
justify that I'm taken advantage of, or, you know, it proves that I'm taking advantage of, or, oh, you know, something weird and crazy like that. That's still really old.
okay, that's another thing that's going on, but that's
Not it.
we can work on that. What do you love? Like, tell me his story again.
Well, his story seems to be two aspects. One aspect is trying to get, you know, be looked after, I think, and the other is trying to get away with not having to do his share or his part, right, or contribute. Yeah.
And what do you love about that story?
What do I love about that
Not how it
story?
affects you, but what do you love about that story on its own? Those two stories.
Okay. Maybe I'd like to do that.
Uh-huh.
Get away with not having to do my part, or not having to show up, or
Yep.
maybe I'm jealous. Maybe I envy that, you know?
Yeah. And that's it. There's that youthful energy, that energy of getting away with shit, the energy of also just being able to do what the hell you want. And it's a powerful story. So you're getting in touch with that, even if it's affecting you in a negative way, you're getting into that energy of that story.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
are you willing to step out of the story that you have to be in and accepting of that story in order to enjoy that kind of energy?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I wasn't going to figure that one out, Shiraz.
Well, that's also why he's coming over at New Year's, because you were in it, even though consciously you're like, oh my God, he's getting away with everything. It's like you got to feel that energy. So let's get him back again so I can feel it again. Ooh, New Year's, here it comes. Yay.
Okay.
Right. And the thing is, you can get into that youthful energy, that playful energy, without having to go to that specific story.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So are you willing to step out of the story that you need someone young to be the source of your youthful energy?
Yes.
When you just embrace that energy for yourself from yourself, it's going to change a lot. Right?
Okay.
It will help slow down your aging process. It will bring more joy into your life. There will be more laughter, more fun, more silliness. And you'll get people saying, I'm sorry, how old are you again? Like, stop acting like you're 5. And they're only saying that because they want to act like they're 5 and you're getting away with it. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Being a lot of resistance to that.
Yeah.
To doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you willing to step out of the story that you have to act like an adult?
Yes. Yep.
Ooh. Okay.
Mhm.
How's that feel?
Better. Much better.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for being on. All right. Let's go to Arthur.
Hi, Shiraz.
Hey, Arthur.
I have recently, well, like a few months ago, I had all these issues trying to get money from the Hong Kong government, and they basically gave me 10,000 Hong Kong dollars. But I had some issues with large amounts of money coming to me for more or less no effort, and it was way more of a struggle than it needed to be, and I still didn't get it up to this day. They have some technical issue or whatever, and it's related to 10 years ago when somehow I was just sitting at a Taco Bell, and beside me there was $400, and I just gave it away to one of the managers instead of just realizing that was the universe wanting to give me some money. And I don't know, how do I get back into this space of just inviting massive amounts of random money to me without losing it or giving it away or messing it up or having technical issues or manifesting a million ways not to receive it?
Okay. What's going to happen if you receive that money?
I'll feel insecure
Why would you feel insecure if you have money?
because I have a history of not spending my money wisely.
Okay. So the best solution to make sure you don't spend money wisely is not to have money.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Do you have plans for the money?
I want to there's this coaching program that I want to spend on, and I want to go to all your courses for 2021.
Okay. That's interesting. Does that feel responsible?
Yeah.
That's not actually coming up true.
Okay.
Okay. Who decides what's responsible?
My parents?
Okay. So do you always have to spend money the way your parents want you to?
I don't. But it's annoying because I always I like being open with my finances, especially when I'm living at my parents' house.
Mhm.
Tell them.
Okay.
And,
And what's their reaction when you tell them?
very negative.
Okay. So the more money you get to spend on what you want, the more you have to go through negative conversations with your parents.
Yes.
Okay. So the solution is not to have money, so you don't have to go through those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, oh, that's neat. What if you were to make an extra $50,000 this year?
That'll be lovely. They would be happy too.
You say that, but you're going into a hell of a lot of resistance. What would you have to do if you had an extra $50,000 this year?
I'd have to go through with what I'd say I'd do with my money, which would be spending that 6,000 US on that course that I plan to become a better coach on. And now that I've told you, I'm gonna spend all my money, not all my money, but I'm gonna invest all your courses. That like between those two things, that's like half the 50,000 already. And then probably my parents will be like, "You've already been through coaching with for years with Shiraz or all these other people, and you haven't really changed that much in their view." And I would have like pointless back and forth negativity.
Yep.
And I just yeah. So
Okay. So there's a key phrase you said in there. If I had the money, if I have the money I that I want, I'd have to do the things I say I'm going to do.
yeah.
So do you love having an excuse not to do the things you say you're going to do?
Yeah, I have. It's my pattern to not follow through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the big thing is that the money gets rid of your excuses.
Yeah.
So if you don't follow through while you have the money and you don't have that money excuse anymore, it's not going to end up well for you. Like in your mind, it's like, okay, well, I said I was going to do this and I didn't do it. And I have no excuse not to do it. So how is everyone going to react to that? And you're trying to avoid those conflicts, those discussions, that embarrassment. So what if you just started doing what you said you're going to do?
My life would just. I'm already doing that through my daily Facebook lives, and then following through with what I say, and it's changing my life dramatically in a lot of different areas
Okay.
in a positive way. So it's just all good if I do that.
So then what if you just started saying what you want to do and doing what you're saying within the parameters of your current life rather than the life of if I had the money?
Ah. Oh. That would be a game changer.
Yeah, because a lot of people go on with that. Well, if I had the money, I would do this. I would give to so many charities, and I would build this institute, and I would do this, and it's easy to talk about it if I had the money or when I get the money. But in your current situation, in your current reality, you can still make a difference. You can still do wonderful things. You can help people that need it. But people don't because they say, well, that's what's going to happen when I get the money. And then they just never get the money, so they don't have to follow through.
So if I were to paraphrase what you mean, you're basically saying, forget about the random amounts of money that the universe may or may not give me in the future or soon. Just focus on what I can do right now and following through with what I say. Like for example, I made a promise on my Facebook Live that within 30 days I will eat less food every day. So I feel a sense of hunger all the time. So which motivates me to work harder and to do more with my business and life. And I'm doing it and it feels great. And so basically just say something that I can, like a stretch goal, but within the parameters of something that I can actually achieve and keep doing that instead of thinking about these ideal big things that will happen once I get a ton of money.
Yep. Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that you have to minimize your money so you always have an excuse for not following through?
Ouch. Yes.
Thought that was going to move, but it didn't. Interesting. Do you always need an excuse for not following through?
Yes.
Okay. So what would happen in your life if you didn't have any excuses?
I would have to help the world. And that might put me in a position where I'm working so hard I can't recover from fatigue.
Okay. So why would you have to help the world?
The world needs help.
No.
I mean, if you look at like how, in India and China, there's so many people that are in like a really poverty state, or in Africa, and like it's just the responsible thing to do if you have a lot of money, than to build schools and like
But here's the thing, you have this belief that if you have a lot of money, it's your responsibility to help all these people,
Yeah.
but you don't want to help all these people.
Yeah.
So, so then you can't have money.
True.
So, but the problem is, if you have a lot of money, it's not your responsibility to help people. You have a choice. You can help them or you cannot help them, but it's not your responsibility to help them. That's just something that we're taught. And it's nice for people to help them, right? People are generous and giving and they help, but it's not a responsibility. There are lots of millionaires and billionaires out there that are hoarding their money and people hate them for it because they're not helping it, but they're not saying, well, it's my responsibility. And I'm not saying become like one of them, because there's other millionaires and billionaires that are giving away lots and lots of money to help people, right? I just saw, oh my God, why is it, I'm blanking on his name, but he like created a school for underprivileged children, and it not only education, but all their meals are covered by the school. And he's just making a big impact. He doesn't need to do it. It's not his responsibility, but it's the neighborhood he grew up in and he wants to give back, and it's all choice. And there's so much more lighter generosity, love, energy when it's from choice and not from responsibility.
I would love that.
So are you willing to step out of the story that if you have lots of money, it's your responsibility to help everyone else?
Yes.
Are you willing to step out of the story that you have to show everyone you're a good person?
Yes.
Okay. And again, I'm not saying don't be a good person, but showing people you're a good person is all about ego. It's all about the display. Look at how great a person I am. Whereas just being a good person, you don't care if anyone sees it. You'll just do good things. Okay. How's that feel?
Strange. My head feels a little woozy.
Cool. All right. Let that process then.
Thank you, Shiraz.
You're welcome. Atta.
Hi, Shiraz.
Hey, am I going to see you?
No,
What? No, come on.
no, I'm no, I'm in resistance. You're not going to see me. But my issue is I don't know if I'm operating from ego, but I feel like I do things to make people feel jealous, and then when they act jealous, I shut down and act very small, and then I just shut everybody out, and I build a wall back up around myself. I feel like when I do things and I start to shine, there's people around me that like I attract or maybe I don't attract, but I get upset with myself for entertaining the people that are not good for me. And then that trickles down to me going back to playing small and hiding from everybody and missing out on opportunities because I'm too scared to go out and take those opportunities because I don't know who I'll offend.
So there's some beliefs that are sort of going back and forth and contradicting each other. What do you love about making people jealous?
I don't think it's a love for making people jealous. I think it's just I'm very competitive, and it might be because I'm a twin and I was always compared to my brother, and I always was seen more as the alpha. And I I don't know if that's what it is,
So do
or
you have
maybe
to
I like
show,
the ego stroking.
okay, so do you have to show you're better?
No.
That's not coming. You felt that too. Okay. And that's where the jealous part comes up, because people can get jealous of other people that are better than them. So part of you wants to make people jealous. Part of you wants to show you're better than people. But then another part of you hates the reaction of people being jealous
Hmm.
and shies away from it. So you've got these conflicting things that cause you to go through these waves of, oh, I'm doing better, now I got to pull back. Now I start to shine and now I got to pull back. So here's the thing. If people are jealous, that's on them,
Hmm.
right? If you want to make people jealous, that's on you. If you want to show you're better, that's on you. That's all coming from ego.
Okay.
Okay. So when you are comfortable just saying, well, this is just who I am, it doesn't matter if I'm better or worse than anyone else, I'm just going to be Ata, then the jealousy thing starts to go away. The ego starts to drop off. But as long as you're stuck in that story, that's right from childhood, because you and your twin through your years are trying to show who's better. That's going to impact your life, your relationships, and your career.
Oh, yes, it really is. It
Mhm.
really is in every aspect, like my
Yep.
business, my friendships, relationships. I'm coming to this realization of I always have to be in a situation where there's some type of competition. I don't like to just be where I'm just happy being who I am and where I am. Like I feel like it's always I want to be chosen as opposed to I'm the person that can do the choosing.
Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that you have to show that you're better?
Yes.
Are you willing to step out of the story that you will only be loved if you show that you're better?
Yes.
Ooh. Okay. And from the other side, if people are jealous, you have to let them be jealous. If you try to play small, shrink away, shut yourself down just so people don't get jealous, you're going to do that through your entire life. Right? What's going to happen is if you allow yourself to shine, if you allow your opportunities to show up and you just take advantage of it, your career just goes, then there's going to be all these people that are in admiration of you. And there's going to be a bunch of people that are jealous of you. There are going to be a bunch of people that align and support and cheer you on and help you grow. And there's going to be some people that fucking hate you. Okay. But if you're doing it and you're not doing it from a place of ego, and you're just doing it because this is who you are, this is how you shine, this is what you want to do, this is your passion, there's going to be way more people that are supportive than that are jealous or haters. And when you don't care about those opinions, when you're just saying, I'm just doing this because I love it, then it doesn't matter, right? You will be
Mhm.
creating, you will be contributing, you will be making people happy. And there are people that are at those lower frequencies that just don't want to get out of it. And the reason they can become jealous or hate you is because you're proof that they can get out of it. And they hate that proof being shown, like just being thrust in their face, right? And they don't have to look at you. They can go focus on someone else, but they're like, no, now I can hate her, and that keeps me at a low vibration, and I'll just keep this up. And that's what happens. You see this play out with all sorts of celebrities, with successful business people. It's all there. But when you're just sitting in this place of, I'm just doing what I love, and I'm hoping for the best of everyone that's in my circle, that comes into, like, not even immediate circle, but anyone that just sees what I do. I want to be an inspiration for them. I want them to do well too. Then things will keep getting better for you. But you have to not care what other people think about you. You can still care about people, just not what they think about you.
Yeah, I think that's where I get it fucked up, is that I care about people and then I empathize with them and then I want to help them get to where I'm going, and it always like backfires. It's like I always choose to help the people that don't really want my help. I choose to help the people that I know really hate me a lot.
Okay. So you have to stop doing that.
Arr.
Okay. So are you willing to destroy the belief that you have to get the people that don't like you to like you?
Yes.
Are you willing to step out of the story that you always have to help the people you decide need the most help?
Yes.
Because there's the people that you decide need the most help, and they might be the people that love being exactly where they are, even if they're bitching about it, because they're in this place of I love to complain about how bad my life is. And if you try to take that away from them, it's not going to go well.
Mm-hmm.
But then there are people that will genuinely come up and say, Ata, I see what you're doing. I know you can help me. Would you help? And there's going to be a different energy to them. And those are the
Well,
people
I
that
think
actually
I
make
think that's where I had it messed up. Like with the most recent shutdown, it was a female that came around, and she seemed to be very helpful and very understanding. But then it came, like, she wanted me to put her on an insurance policy, and like she ended up with one of my agents, and that agent stopped booking me, and I was just like, how did I not see the signs? Like, why did I choose to go close to her? Like, why wouldn't I just avoid her? Because I could have, I blame myself for not sensing that she probably wasn't being genuine,
Yeah.
and like it just threw me off.
But she matches your story of who you'd like to help, and she matches your story of keeping yourself small, and she matches
Mm,
your story of making sure people love you.
yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
now that you're stepping out of those stories, you'll start to encounter different people. Okay. Unless
Okay.
you decide you don't like it, and then you step back into the stories because it's more comfortable.
Never.
All right.
Thank you, Shiraz.
You're welcome. We got 6 minutes. We might be able to get 2 more people in. Courtney.
Hey.
Hey. You muted yourself again.
Okay. How did that happen? Am I unmuted?
I can hear you and it says you're muted. This is really weird. Okay, keep going.
Oh. I think except for
Oh, you're
I have
breaking
these
up
family
again.
members who are, oh, it's because it's resistance what I'm saying. Is it better?
Okay, that's a little better. I
I'm
heard
gonna shut up.
family members.
Yeah, they're kind of assholes.
Okay.
And not quite what it
Okay, you're cutting in and out. I have no idea what you're saying. Yeah, there's a lot of resistance.
Yeah. I can't forgive my family. I hate them too much.
Oh, okay. And if you forgive them, do you let them off the hook? Oof. There we go. She dropped right off the call. That's a lot of resistance. Okay. And she's back. Wow.
Yeah, no, I really don't like them.
Okay. All right. So are you willing to step out of the story that if you forgive them, you're letting them off the hook for all their bad behavior?
Yes.
Okay, that's not a real yes. Do they have to make up for everything they've done before you forgive them?
Or just stop doing it. You know, they don't have to make up for everything, but if they could just be better.
Okay. So what if they can't?
Well, then that's why I can't forgive them, because they can't.
Yeah, but if they're in the space that they just can't, that's not who they are. It's not a matter of, well, they need to. It is, are you willing to accept that that's who they are, whether or not you want to keep them in your life? But just, oh, well, that's who they are. They're always going to behave that way. And okay, I'm not going to hang out with them anymore, but that's who they are.
So I know that this is my judgment of them,
Mhm.
but they're the most evil people I know. And it's not just me that they harm. So I don't know. Like that just seems to be the difference on why, you know, like being attached to them, knowing that they're just out in the world doing a whole bunch of evil.
It's your decision to be attached to them. You don't have to.
Well, yeah, but they're still doing the evil whether I'm attached to them or not.
Okay.
Like, and that's the part that bugs me.
Okay. So is it your responsibility to stop them from doing the evil?
Well, it feels like it, but I can't.
Okay. So what if you stop making it your responsibility?
Well, most of the time that feels better, except for, so one of the problems that came up with Christmas is that my family's like, they're really racist and homophobic and stuff.
Mhm.
And one uncle in particular. And he has a daughter that's brain injured.
Mhm.
And she spends all their holidays alone because she's different. He can't love her.
Okay.
And so when I was over at Christmas, because I'm not different, so I was okay to be around him for Christmas, he started making these homophobic jokes.
Mhm.
And my earliest memory of them is having a black Cabbage Patch doll at Christmas and the shitty things they could say to a 4-year-old.
Mhm.
And so when he started to make those comments, it didn't make me feel angry because of what I was seeing, but it made me so angry on behalf of my cousin that for 4 days afterwards, it just ran into my head. All of the different things I wish I could say to this fucking asshole so that he could stop doing this. And I couldn't let it go.
Okay. So there's a couple things there. You could say those things to him. It's probably not going to make a difference, but that doesn't mean you can't say that to him. You're just telling yourself you're not allowed to say them, but you're allowing him to say whatever the fuck he wants. So that's creating a whole bunch of resistance and upset for you.
Yeah.
So because you're like, I'm going to behave properly, even though he's being an asshole, but he shouldn't be an asshole. And I really don't want to behave properly. Right? But if you want to say that shit to him, there's nothing stopping you except you.
Yeah.
So are you willing to step out of the story that you always have to behave correctly and correct everyone else?
Yes.
Are you willing to step out of the story that you have to take on the hurt and pain on behalf of the people that are being hurt?
Yes.
And are you willing to step out of the story that you cannot be happy until these people realize what assholes they're being?
Yes.
Okay. So the hard part here is getting into acceptance of who they are and realizing that you can do things differently. You don't have to go to a family get together where you know everyone's going to be an asshole. You can just say, no, I'm not going to do that. And not this situation is different this year, but if he's got a daughter that spends time alone instead of going to the family, you might decide, well, I'm going to go spend time with your daughter because at least she's not alone and I'm not with a bunch of assholes. Like
Yeah.
those options are out there, barring COVID restrictions, right? So it's the thing is that your story is such that you put yourself in those situations so you can see the evidence of the story, so you can get mad about it and you can see the injustice that's going on.
No, I love to hate them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right? So
Yeah.
and you can't hate them as much if they're not around you to show you why you need to hate them.
Yeah.
And when you're willing to let go of that hate and just you stay in the awareness, yeah, they're not good people, but I'm going to be out of the hate. They can do their hate over there. Right? And their hate, if they're in that space of hate and fear and judgment, that eats away at you. That does catch up with you. So you just let them do that. Right? But you want to stay in a place of love, of acceptance, of understanding, and stop getting your fix from the hate.
Yeah.
So are you willing to step out of the story that you need your fix of hating them to feel good?
Yes.
Whew. Okay, how's that feel?
It feels like it's shifting.
Good. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So that is, you know what? I forgot to record the damn thing. Oh, well, too late now. That is it for today. I want to remind everyone that I have Clearing the Negative Energies of 2020 coming up on Thursday at 1:00 p.m. The general admission runs from 1 till 4, and then the VIP goes from 4:30 till 6. It's $75 for general admission, $200 for VIP, but in the chat, I have put a coupon to get $75 off. I will put this link on the Facebook page as well. So you can attend the general for free if you like. And but if you want the VIP, it's not only a more intimate setting, going deeper into beliefs and clearings, but you also get a 30-minute private session with me. So thank you for showing up. Actually, you know what I'm also going to do? We have more events coming up today, and the next one is at 7:00. So let me grab the link for that, which is 7:00. Here it is. And throw that in the chat. So if you are free at 7 Eastern today, then you can attend that event. It's more business centered. And then at 9:00, there is a mindset and belief shifting session. So check it out. Thank you so much for being here for our last episode. I hope to see you on New Year's Eve. And until then, be well, be aware, and be magical.